This is a Let's Talk Church Safety and Security microsode with your host, Paul Buckner.
Touch a little bit more on friendly fire. You need to think about in your church, do you have safe backstops to shoot into? If not, you need to be able to think about, okay, if somebody comes in that door, if somebody stands up in that pew, if somebody hurls something, what am I, what is my backstop behind them? And you may not have one. And you need to think about your ammo. I've done penetration testing with different rounds, and it's crazy what rounds will go through. You know, contrary to Hollywood, where the bullet fired, the 7.62 by 39 round coming out of the fully automatic AK does not go completely through the sedan, the unarmored sedan, and kill everybody in it. You know, real life people get hurt badly. So thinking about what is and isn't potentially going to stop your round. In some environments, I know of churches that insist that they actually insist that their team carries some type of a frangible round. Glacier made some. I don't even know if they're a company anymore. And what they require is you have to have a round that goes all to pieces, and they're a highly compressed resin that's basically epoxied together, and it delivers all of its energy into the target. Those rounds exist, and if you have a really big concern, you see those in applications like air marshals and people that are around things that if a bullet goes into it, things happen like explosive decompression of the cabin of an airplane. So those are things to think about. Now I want to change tack just a little bit. And I was talking to Scott Hewins in Messenger, and he made a great point. We were talking about the fact that not everybody is wired for every application in church safety. And maybe you know somebody that they are, maybe blood bothers them or whatever. And a lot of times we think at that point, well, you shouldn't be in church safety. But you know, maybe that person can be the designated person to call 911. You know, I'm not going to ask somebody. I dated a girl that actually, I mentioned it before, but she held the chest cavities of dogs open for surgeries on dogs, like open heart surgery on a dog. Never bothered her. We went to a wreck where I had to hold a 14-year-old kid together, and I'm 18. And I was telling Scott about this. I threw up 2 hours later, but I handled it, and I did it. She couldn't handle it. It was human blood, and she ran the other way. And we're going to talk more about this in the next couple of videos, but this is a know thyself moment. This is a know thyself moment, because if one of your kids cuts themselves and you can't handle it, there's going to be a lot of blood with a shooting or a stabbing. And so knowing that in advance, you may have to just grit your teeth and bear it in the moment. But if you can do a handoff, maybe you're the person on the phone, maybe you're running for the ambulance to help guide them in, maybe you're doing crowd control, you know, whatever you're doing, I can tell you, I fought a tweaker a few years ago. You've heard me talk about it. We all had blood all over us. The guy's heart was beating like crazy from the fight, and the guy's heart was beating even crazier because he had taken significant amounts of meth, and he bled all over us. And if you're squeamish about that, that's a reality. That's a reality. So, and knowing that about yourself again is going to be important, because not every role in church safety has to have a gun. And that's going to bring me to another point, and then we're gonna jump to the next video. But not every single person in church safety needs to carry a gun, has to carry a gun. It's not some unwritten rule. And I know people that are like, Paul, I would sacrifice my life before I would ever take a human life. I don't feel that way. There's probably only one person on the planet that if they pointed a gun at me, maybe 2 or 3 if I count my kids in that. But there's a very small group of people that if they pointed a gun at me to kill me, that I would just let them kill me. And I wouldn't do anything. My wife's one of them. I'm going to heaven. I'm not killing my wife. But there are people that they can't take a life at all. They're not wired that way, and they know that about themselves. maybe their mission role needs to be a different role. Not everyone needs to be packing lethal, and not everyone that even thinks they can pull the trigger really can. Let's talk about this more in the next video.
If you enjoyed this microsode, check out the video and audio versions of the Let's Talk Church Safety and Security podcast.